Perfect.
Okay.
And it's been a few years since we've met before. Remember, we met last time in central London, uh,
Yeah,
and and then everything, all this happened, all this uh, pandemic. So we just all the music has come to a stall, really, which is such
yeah,
a shame. And the 80s are back now. So we with the tour, the Essential 80s, I'm very pleased because
yeah, yeah.
it's such a great theme, isn't it?
It
So
is. Yeah.
how will I mean the Essential tours is a few bands like Go West, which I've seen a few weeks ago,
Mhm.
and then it's you, and then and so how will the tour look like with many bands together, like a festival, or how does it look like?
I think what you're thinking of is, so you've already seen Go West, yeah?
Yes, I've seen them in central London. They played with an orchestra, so it was at the Palais.
Oh, I see. Yeah.
Really nice.
Mm. So what we're doing in May is a joint tour with Go West. So it's just the two of us, and we'll be doing that in May. And then in October, it's a similar thing, but with Carol Decker and Hue and Cry.
Yeah.
So it's two different sets of concerts. The Go West concerts should have been done back in 2020.
I remember, yes.
Yeah. Mm.
Yeah.
So they've gone back in the diary, but we were also going to do the October tour. So it ends up I'm doing the UK twice in 6 months, but with
Which is
different people.
great for us.
Yeah.
I'm very pleased, that that's back. So also it's two different tours with you. You are with pairing with these other bands or
Yeah.
these other acts, right?
Yeah.
Ah, okay. So that's quite it's nice. The important thing is the theme because we love the 80s. So what
Yeah.
do you do like the most about the 80s? We talked about the 80s before in our interviews before, but what is it to refresh my memory about your favorite 80s things? Well, music wise
Uh,
and then anything else.
the favourite thing about it for me was I was just at the right age and time. I'd been in two other bands. I'd gained a lot of experience, and I felt it was my time to get ready and go solo. And I think the stars collided. You win, and so therefore I was ready to try and do something different. There was a lot of things at our disposal then with synthesizers, drum machines, new technologies, digital recordings for the first time, and so my favourite part of being in the 80s was that whole feeling of it being very much alive and that anything could happen and things were happening on a grand scale, especially uh, the facilities for a musician to be able to use those things. Musically, I wasn't sure that I was because I was a child of this. I was a teenager of the 70s, so I love the 70s.
Yeah,
And
sure.
in the 80s, I wasn't sure. But then I just did some American shows, um, and that was an 80s theme as well. So then they were playing lots of hits that were hits in America and not in the UK, and songs I remembered really well. And I thought, no, I thought actually there was lots of great music in the 80s because we'd still got Springsteen, who was fairly new as an artist, but you'd also got Peter Gabriel, who'd been around since the 60s, but was still continuing to make great music. Robert Palmer, who'd been around since the late 60s, early 70s, and then started a solo career. So you've got that, which wasn't overly synthesized and things like that. It was all of
Rock.
this music was quite varied. You've got Bowie that was constantly changing, and then you'd got the synth-driven era with soft cell, blancmange, and all these things. So I think it was the variation that I loved.
That's right. You're right. It's a lot of varied style of music. Is not just one style. Or it's so much music coming out of those I was a
Yeah.
teenager in the 80s. That's why I feel the same. Because in the 70s, to be fair, I was too young to appreciate. I mean, I didn't realize I was too young to even appreciate everything that happened in the 70s.
Yeah.
But in the 80s, I was a teenager, so everything was there, you know.
Yeah.
And that's when you
Mm.
came along. And
Yeah.
your music, I told you before because we talked about this, but your music was chosen in my school in Italy to be played as your song, one of your songs, to be played for a girls, all girls ensemble where there was like a dance, it was just like 50 girls dancing with this. I was tempted to put it on today.
Oh,
This top, like a red, super flashy red top, very
uh,
shiny, and then dancing to your dance. So for us, it was like almost like that music really means a lot for this
yeah.
kind of generation, because we obviously it was chosen by the school to be played
Right.
by the school teacher, to be played as this the tune for that specific dance for the school assembly.
Yeah.
It was like a end of the year show.
Yeah. Maybe it was love of. I think love of the common people was very big in Italy, so it
Yes,
could have been that one.
it was love of the common people. In fact, it was love of the.
Yeah.
I think we talked about that before, but yes. And then I was talking at the weekend with some friends who remember that they were in the show, and they said, "Oh, you have to tell Paul Young that he actually kind of modeled our." Imprint. It was the imprint of the music taste of the whole 80s.
Yeah.
It is true, though. I mean, it's fair to say that your music has been for us very memorable and very significant in our lives.
Yeah.
So, I still have one of your records, a vinyl, which is so nice, to have to still listen to. And
And vinyl's coming back now as well.
oh yeah, I mean, I have so many. So I have a new play and a crosslay, like the dancette, like a dancette, to
Oh
play
yes.
old records. And despite the lack of pure quality sound, I think that actually what's make it nice, because you feel that the moment you listen to that the needle coming onto the record, I think that you start becoming very concentrated, very focused on the music. And when you have that pure sound, maybe there is nothing that makes you focus to the in particular.
Yeah. Yeah. Because the thing is, it's all very. It's easily obtainable now.
Yes,
Music is
true,
very like
easy, yeah.
it's very sort of disposable now, and also when you listen to something, you got nothing to read because it's just coming straight from the internet into your
Yes,
house. The great thing
that's right.
about vinyl is it has to come in a package, and the package will have information and photos
Lyrics, the
and
lyrics.
and lyrics, and sometimes those photos, if you see it again in 20 years time, it will bring you back to that time when
I
you were
know.
playing that album. So you've got all these memories that become associated with the vinyl records that you used to buy.
I
So
know.
all that side of it is lacking if you only stream. You don't know what musicians were on there.
Mm.
Um, all you know is the name of the singer, and I think that's very detrimental to the music industry that you don't know who the drummer was.
Right,
They
right.
just become a faceless person. And it's not great, really.
No, it's not. I agree with you, because I obviously grew up with the records, with the vinyls. I still have all my records and I play them, and it's a pleasure, because for me it was the initial way for me to listen to music. And so yeah, I think they miss out now, not to, but they're coming back. So because
Yeah.
people now realize that actually it was brilliant to have this way of playing the music, not pure
Mm,
sound and
no.
perfection, but
Well,
so intense.
yeah. Well, I've got an album that's ready to go now, and we will be releasing it on vinyl as well. So
Yes, that's a great
right.
idea. Such a good
Yeah,
thing. So this is one of the best things of the 80s. And are you going to be brushing up your famous 80s suits for the tour? You had this. We talked about your suits before. You said they were specifically very kind of elastic, so elasticy or bendy.
yeah,
Are you
yeah. A lot
going
of
to
the clothes,
bring them
a
back?
lot. Yeah, the clothes I wore on stage, they were either quite, especially the trousers would be slightly elasticated for the freedom of movement, but also uh, some of the more fashionable clothing would just rip and tear very, very quickly because it was made from a sheer material. So um, uh, the Anthony Price suit that I wore on the No Parley sleeve
Yeah.
is very well known. But then I wore some Anthony Price suits on stage, but I made him, or I asked him to remake them in a tougher fabric. And he wasn't very keen on doing it because he said, but then it won't hang in the same way. But I said, well, the trouble is, I'll go through the trousers in 2 shows, and there I'll need another pair and another pair. So,
Yes.
yeah.
And because the shows are intense. I mean, it's a lot of jumping around the stage. Although you haven't been, you weren't the jumpy type, if I remember. You have never been
Well,
jumpy type, like not like I don't know Mick Jagger. He's the jumping type, on stage. Or
well,
maybe
no,
Bowie.
I didn't. I didn't
No,
jump, but I ran a lot and I
no.
slid a lot. Got a
Oh,
slide on my
right.
knees, and I had a lot of on-stage accidents through some of the things I did. I had a big fireman's pole on the stage, and I would spin down that, and I would do loads of things like that.
Yes, I have to look back at some of the videos. If they are
Yeah. The
still
Tomb of
around.
Memories video is a good one because there's lots of live things that you see. Yeah.
Yes, and there aren't as many videos as there are these days. Obviously,
No.
we didn't have phones, and we just went to concerts also without phones, and we never recorded anything. So that made us
No.
really focus on the music. And these days there are so many distractions. You record everything, and you just miss out sometimes.
Yeah, you missed the moment.
The
Hmm.
moment, and and those moments that I remember when I went to the first gigs, they are just plastered in my memory. I will never forget them. I don't have a single
Yeah.
photo, a single video, but I still have them in my mind. So that my
Yeah.
memories, So one last question, because I know you have a tight schedule for today. I've
Yeah.
seen, I've seen Sasha send me your schedule is just really busy, so I'm not gonna
Yeah.
keep you for long. And we talked about before about your culinary skills, and so it's a curiosity that I have. You're like a star also in the kitchen. So what would you say it's like an 80s dish? We talk about the 80s, or something that you cook like an 80s style, or what's 80s in the kitchen?
80s style
You
of
didn't
food.
expect
80s.
this question.
Yeah. 80s food wasn't very good because I was touring America a lot, and it was difficult to get good food in America. I mean, San Francisco you could, New Orleans you could,
Oh,
California you could,
yeah.
but a lot of other places the food was pretty bad.
Ooh,
And Europe was slightly better, and of course my favourite was Italian. So I
yes.
guess and one of the things I love that would always be on the menu. Then I think they changed it. They made the menus new, and they wanted to um, change people's perception of Italian food. So some things went off the menu, but now they're coming back. And one of my favourites is the vitello tonnato.
Oh, yes, I know. Oh, it's very
I
good. I love Vitello.
I love that,
Yeah.
and it's so unusual to have something where you have a fish sauce with meat.
Yes.
It's so unusual.
It's unusual, and it sounds like a profanity because
Yes,
like,
it sounds like it
I
should
mean,
work.
you use like veal, which is really expensive meat, and you put fish on it. Oh my God. It sounds like a
Yeah.
profanity, but it is amazing. I mean,
Oh, I love it. Yeah, it's such a
yeah,
lovely. It's very light, but it's great for a little
yeah.
lunchtime meal. So I've made that at home as well.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
That's quite an
Mm.
art because it's not easy to make it so light and to make it so not too heavy sauce,
Yeah.
you know. So it's fantastic. Wow, I'm impressed that you make that. What's the record behind your back?
Yeah.
I'm curious.
Because the thing is, I moved house a little while ago, so
Okay.
I haven't had a chance to do this
Uh-huh.
room. The only one I could put up was this.
Oh.
It's my first album,
Uh-huh.
and no parlay. And
Yes.
in the UK, because I think on the internet it says it went triple platinum, but I've got the 4. That's quadruple,
Wow.
and they gave me
God.
that. They gave me that maybe 25 years ago, so it's possibly 5 times platinum now. You know,
Wow.
but that's the proof that it's not triple; it's quadruple. And then
Quadrupled.
and there's a picture of me up there with Billy Gibbons from ZZ Top,
Oh my
and
goodness. I love ZZ Top.
another one with Iggy Pop and Rick James and David Bowie.
Wow. Fantastic.
But
Fantastic display.
yeah, but first I'm going to redecorate this. This is just my little office, and then at the bottom of the garden, I'm going to build a proper studio, and so I can work down there.
Are you still touring with the Mexican guys? With the Mexican, no, the Mexican.
With Los Pacaminos.
Pacaminos, yes. I
Yeah,
call Mexican guys. Yeah.
Yeah, we are going to be. We've been going for 30 years this year.
I know.
So
that's why I'm asking.
So this year I've got 2 tours. One would go west in the UK, one with Carol and Hue and Cry in the UK. I've also got a new Paul Young album, and I'm now recording the new Los Pecaminos album to celebrate 30 years. So I'm a busy boy this year.
That's very good to know. And also, I've missed you a couple of times that you came to the Half Moon in Putney to play with Los Pacaminos, because I've seen the program.
Yeah.
Half Moon in Putney is my local pub, and I've played there with my band. I've played in the past with my band there. Inside that pub a few times, and then I always saw you in the program further down the line, and I thought, I have to go and see that. But then something always happened. I have to catch up. Next time I'll watch the program. Next time I'll come.
It's really, really good fun. Yeah, and we all get to sing a little bit. I don't do all of the lead vocals, and we share the songs.
Yeah.
And I think that's what makes it so nice, because there's different people doing different things on stage all the time.
Mm-hmm. Fantastic. Well, I'll let you go because I know you've got a few an interview, 2 minutes to go. So thank you so much, and enjoy. I mean, being busy is always good, and it's a good job. So enjoy everything, and good luck with everything in your life. Bye bye.
Thank you. Nice to hear from you again.
Nice to talk to you. Bye bye.
Bye.
Lovely day. Yeah, me too.